Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Robert Phoenix here, broadcasting to you live from Fredericksburg, Texas. What's happening? What's going on out there? Literally and figuratively in your world. It is the 7th of August, one day away from the 50th anniversary of the Tate LaBianca murders, which occurred in Southern California on the 8th of August into the 9th of August, 50 years ago tomorrow. Just waiting for people to show up over on the YouTube side. Good morning, Justice. There's Scoobs. What's happening? Good morning, Ms. Joni, Isla, Judy. Running just a little bit behind today. I was up late last night. Some nights I can't. It's not like I have a sleeping problem. I really don't. But I was just so jacked up yesterday. I felt like incredibly optimistic yesterday and really positive. And one would think that maybe perhaps based on what's going on in the world, that might be not the most appropriate response to living a life. Well, I was even kind of checking myself a bit at that time, throughout the day. It's like, man, I was just so happy. I was really, really happy. Well, you may want to ask yourself, well, why was I happy? It's a good question. Well, the reason I was happy was, well, there are a couple things. Number one is I changed my diet just a little bit yesterday. Normally in the morning I sit down after I do the show and I'll have a couple of eggs and maybe some kind of meat, just go kind of paleo out to breakfast. Yesterday, instead of doing that, I had some cantaloupe and some prosciutto wrapped around the cantaloupe. It was quite good. It was a very different kind of digestive, energetic process. So I did. It was very interesting to see how that affected me versus the eggs and the meat, which I tend to like to have. So I think maybe that had something to do with it. But yesterday was a landmark day for me because back in February, I went out and been spending a lot of time looking at trucks online, and with the idea that with my son approaching his 16th birthday, mind blowing, that I would put together like a vehicle for him, right? Because this is what my father did for me when I was 16. He went out and he found a Ford LTD, and he got this thing taken care of. He got a paint job. He put mags on it. I mean, he did a wonderful thing. Really cool thing for me. It was great. It was a great, 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 great gesture. I wouldn't have done it for me at that time, to be honest with you. I was probably the most irresponsible kid on the planet, and if he understood what my secret life was like, he wouldn't have done it either. But that was the 70s, and this is now, and my son is not me. Anyway. So I went out and I found this old truck from a town called San Angelo, which is maybe about 125 miles away from here. Yeah. So I found this. And I've been cruising around trying to find something. I got a really good deal on this old truck. Although, of course, when you get an old truck, it generally needs work. If you're getting a good deal, okay, that's the that is always going to be the defining factor with an old truck. So I got this old truck from San Angelo, and I dropped it off at a mechanic here in town. And there was a lot that needed to take place to get this thing up and running. And I bought all the parts online because I was able to get better deals. This is one of the things about the internet that I love. Because I was able to get better deals on parts than the mechanic was. And you would think that a mechanic would get a discount and stuff like that. The mechanics don't have time to go online. Their shops are usually pretty slammed. They're off doing a bunch of stuff and trying to just keep it all together. So I went out and I found the parts. By the way, if you don't work on your own car, and I can do some stuff, but I don't have a lift and stuff like that, and there were gas tanks that needed to be changed, and so you can work with mechanics and buy your own parts and save money on the parts. So I did that. And 6 months later, they finally got it together. And yesterday, I drove that truck out of the mechanics, and now I'm in the process of legalizing it and all that stuff that needs to take place. So here's the fun part about this truck. Okay, I gotta just share some positive vibes with you guys. I drove the truck up to Advanced Auto Parts, or AutoZone, which, by the way, if I had to advocate any of the parts stores, AutoZone would be my go-to. I love those guys. They have the best service, bar none. Any auto parts store any AutoZone I've been to, they've all got this kind of like, I don't know, kind of service vibe that is translatable, transferable across all the different AutoZones. Anyway, I go in there and there's this older Mexican dude, and he's maybe about 5 years older than me. I'm older, right? So I told him, I said, yeah. I had to give him the year of the car, the truck, and all that. And he goes, oh wow, it's a whole truck. He says, you have it here? I said, yeah. So it's right outside. Come check it out. And he walks outside. And remember, this truck is not painted or anything, and it's got some rust and stuff, and it needs some work. But he looks and goes, oh man, I love it. I love this. This guy spent 10 minutes doing slow donuts around my truck. And we're talking about what kind of paint and pinstriping and white walls, and it was great. It was totally great. That, for 10 minutes, me and this guy shared a moment of joy about a freaking old truck, okay? It was great. So, yeah, man, I'm into this. This is what I'm doing in the interior. He says, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. So this is kind of what guys do, right? So, anyway, it brought me a sense of joy, and not just the that moment, but bringing something, from a very inoperable place and then investing life in it, and then it actually now becoming reanimated. And so I was just really happy yesterday, and I'm still happy today. So I was on kind of this happy buzz thing. I was so happy that I was feeling a little, how do I say this? I was feeling a little foxy or wily yesterday. So I went to this place to get the inspection for the truck. And first of all, there was this young guy there, and he was sweating his ass off, man. He's probably about $3 bills. I felt so sorry for him. He was really hot here, and he's running back and forth, right? So I'm feeling happy. So I bought him they had a Coke machine there. So I bought him an iced tea. So here you go, it's for you, right? And he's like, oh, thank you. But then now they had the TV on. They're talking about what happened in El Paso. There's this young guy next to me. I said, hey, did you hear that they had multiple witnesses who said that there were 3 or 4 shooters in there? The guy said, no, really? I said, yeah, man, 3 or 4 shooters. That's what they said. These witnesses, I've seen the video. A couple of Latino women, right? Latinas. They were talking about it. Wow. And then I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? That if this guy really, really, really wanted to just kill a bunch of Mexicans, why would he go all the way to El Paso? Why would he go all the way to El Paso? Do you ever think about that? I mean, there's a lot of so-called Mexican people in a lot of other places. I'm sure there are Mexican neighborhoods in Dallas that would have been, a lot easier for him to get to instead of traveling all the way across the state. Doesn't that sound weird? It's just, yeah, now that you mention it. And even if he did want to go to El Paso, why and do this? Why didn't he just go to like a Mexican market? Like if he really, 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 really wanted to kill a bunch of Mexicans, why don't you go to a Mexican market? Why at Walmart? Have you thought about that? Wow, now that you mention that is weird. You see, you can do stuff like this. You can drop little truth bombs into people's lives, and they will think about it, and they'll sit down, and maybe they'll say to their friends, "Hey, man, I talked to this guy today at the tire shop, And yeah, he was saying some stuff about the shooting. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird, but he made some sense about it. Well, what did he say? You see, this is what we can do. This is really one of the most quietly rebellious acts that you can perform. It's just to talk to people. Hey, did you hear about? But you have to size people up a little bit, right? I looked out like I could probably get this guy for about 3 minutes in that moment. But this is what we can do. We can be our own little viral transfer points, right? We're our own viral transfer stations. And by the way, I have an idea and a thought about how we can deal with what's going on with all these false flags or these shootings or whatever you want to call them, psyops, tragedies, fill in the blank, and they are not going to stop. They are not going to stop until the guns are taken away. We are in an Operation Gladio moment. It took about 30 years to disarm Europe. If you're not familiar with Operation Gladio, essentially what happened during Operation Gladio is that there were hit squads, people that were armed that would go into public places and start shooting. And it became such a problem in Europe that one by one, the countries in Europe started to take the guns away or make it very, very difficult for citizens to own guns. And that's what happened with Europe. That's why Europe is completely defenseless. Nobody there has guns. And look what's happening in Europe. It is not a good scene. Not a good scene. They're going to continue to do this. So I was thinking, I was just giving this some thought. I haven't really thought it out completely. But I was thinking what would be really interesting would be to start and use their technology kind of against them, right? Would be to start a user group like on Facebook, let's say, and call it the Watchers or Little Brother, and basically have as many people like get a Facebook group that's up to like 2 million people or something like that. And the sole goal of a group like this would be to observe, right, and to check into places, right? So let's say you're going to a live event like a concert, or you're going to a club, or you're going to a Walmart. All you would do would be to go on that page and check in and say, I'm at such and such right now. And if we could get a large number of people using cell phones and being a part of a group that is consciously observable in as many different places as possible, because consciousness is everything and intention is everything. And we wouldn't even have to fire one shot. We wouldn't have to go out and get one firearm. But what we would have to do is we'd have to have a network of observers that could check into one central point. It'd be really simple, really simple. Now I know they would say, well, if you do that, they know where you. But fuck, they know where you are anyway. Okay, you got a cell phone. You got a cell phone. You are on the radar. So it doesn't really matter if you're checking in, right? But at the very least, we could use the tools that we have available to us. Now all of a sudden, we're watching the watchers. We're watching the people watching us. Or we're watching the people that are theoretically behind the scenes moving the levers and pressing the buttons, right? And it becomes a conscious act that you are kind of embedded, that there are 2 million of us embedded in situations where in a moment's notice, you just go in. You just go in with your cell phone, and let's say we've got a page set up, and you just check in. Just check in, at the Walmart superstore, at the UT game, right? And then once you're there, be vigilant. Be vigilant. That's what you do. Be vigilant. And it could actually kind of, morph. And there could be, kind of more, how do I say this, focused intent around the whole thing. Just like, so let's say, for instance, what they're doing in Ohio over the course of the next couple of weeks, which is running drills. Well, if you had a group of people in Ohio who are part of this group, you just deploy them. Just go, okay, here you go. Here's where this is happening. You guys just, be in the area and observe. That's all you got to do. Just observe. You don't want to interact, right? You don't want to do anything that's going to be considered to be ostentatious. You just want to observe. And I think that kind of intention with enough people changes the game. It changes the game. Because there are two things that are happening. One, you got the technology, and if something did happen, bang, there it is. But number two, it puts the theoretical other side or the theoretical group that tends to stage manage these events on notice that we're on you and we're going to watch you. Now, could it be infiltrated? Of course, everything can be infiltrated, right? But it's just a thought, and it would be probably the easiest and most empowering thing that we can do. And so, no, we got the tools. You gave us the tools. We're going to use the tools. And all we're going to do is observe. That's it. That's it. Can they outlaw observing? Oh, I'm sorry. Observing is no longer a constitutional right. You must get permission to observe. I'm sorry, do you have a permit to observe? Do you have a permit to have those eyes in your head? Yeah, I do. My eyes are licensed. They're licensed. Anyway, it's a thought. What do you guys think about that? I think this could be an interesting solution. What do you think? What do we got? Walmart security. Walmart has the least amount of theft out of any of the box lot stores. Walmart prides itself on product loss prevention. I'll tell you what happens with a Walmart. The minute you walk into a Walmart, they actually have sensors that know how much money you have in your pocket. You know why? Because all of our money is encoded with data. There are very, very tiny, very thin RFID strips in all of our money. So Walmart knows automatically when you walk through that door how much money you have. Are you a cash person? Are you a credit person? And then they register pretty much how much you spend based on how much money you bring in. This is just when you walk in. Right? Just when you walk in. That's Walmart. They got cameras everywhere. Everywhere. And all we get is some shitty little grainy film from this El Paso Walmart. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. They don't have any video footage. Period. They have one thing with the guys like dressed in black, and the whole thing is just stinks to high heaven. But it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. I really think we have to turn our observational powers loose. I think that's the easiest and most doable. And you don't even have to go to a gun store to get a weapon, right? Your weapon is your observational powers. We engage consciously with our observational powers. Oh boy, that changes the game. That changes the game because now we're engaged. Now we're conscious and aware of our surroundings, wherever they are. Wouldn't that be interesting? Could you imagine this? It would be like there's a group there's a group online. They call themselves Little Brother. Oh, you want to get in on this? Oh, look who's here. It's Rosie. Where's your brother? Where's your brother lover? Jasper. Rosie's on board. There's a group on the internet called the Little Brother, and their stated goal is to watch. Can you just see somebody on CNN? I think there's something really insidious about this. Don't people need their privacy? Don't people need to be able to go out in public and not feel like they're being watched? Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let me get this straight. All they do is go out and watch people? Well, theoretically. That's what they say. But who knows what else they're doing? Are they taking notes? Are they harassing people while they're watching people? We don't know. We don't know. But this is a very unusual group. It's in a group that we need to pay attention to. Because watching is something that, well, not everybody has the same set of eyes. You grow up in a certain environment and you're used to seeing something that's very, very different than somebody else who's grown up in another environment. And so you're looking for different things. So ultimately, I think watching could be considered possibly even racist because they're looking for things based on how they've been raised or what their environment has taught them. We really have to pay very close attention to this watching phenomenon. What do you guys think? Would you be a watcher? Would you be a watcher? All notes are now trackable. Absolutely. Follow up on Jennifer Daniels' gun turpentine. I rubbed my thyroid every day, felt better. Oh, good. Good. You know, we got a lot of information sharing going on in the chat room today. That's awesome. That is so good. Observations what Ole Damagard recommends. He believes it has prevented some planned events. Yes, that's true. That is so true. Watching and observing, being conscious. Think of 2 million. Think of 2 million people just watching. You know, part of the Watcher Brigade or Little Brother or whatever you want to call it, right? It'd be great. We can even have T-shirts. Speaking of T-shirts, they're almost done. I apologize. They got caught in the Mercury retrograde churn. And what happened was the guy that was supposed to do the T-shirts, he fumbled the ball. And I had to get his backup to take care of it. Those T-shirts will be done this week. Scouts on it. You get your It's Okay to Be a White Cat T-shirt. And then on the back side of that, I got some caps coming. Now, the caps are not for sale yet. I've only got like 15 of them. But I'll be sporting the cap soon. It's a 15 minutes of flame cap. So we're ramping up here. The one-man band is ramping up. All right, let's see what else we have here. This is a script for a potential stage play, comedy. Turn the TV off. I did it 30 years ago. And I've lived not to regret it. Let's see, what do we have? Sure, sign of setup would be phones of lost shoes, photos of lost shoes around the crime scene. The observers. The observers. You can, and I think you could even have watcher T-shirts, right? Think about that. All of a sudden now, people are identified with their T-shirts as a watcher. It could be a phenomenon. A phenomenon. America has a new pastime. It's called watching. I watch TV. I have no qualms about watching TV. I have about four or five channels that I watch, and that's pretty much about it, to be honest with you. Yes, I watch Shithead Sports because it gives me a bit of a distraction, although the social justice aspect has seeped into sports in a way that I'm not really happy about. And by the way, one of the things I've noticed about, I watch a lot of commercials. A lot of commercials because I get a pulse as to what's happening. Do you know what's one of the more popular commercials now or themes for commercials? Soccer. Soccer. If there's a sport that's being played and there's a drink or some kind of, parent-child bond, it's soccer. It's not basketball. It's not football. It's certainly not baseball. You don't see commercials with dads throwing the ball to their son. Maybe you see, there's one with dads taking their girls to a baseball game. Right? And now it's always the dad and the girl, the dad and the girl, dad and the girl, the dad. What the hell happened to the dad and the son? They just wrote that script out. I mean, it's just, trust me on this. I see this all the time. Soccer. And soccer is the most boring fucking sport ever. And I played a little bit when I played all the sports growing up as much as I could in California. Didn't play hockey. We didn't have hockey. But I played as much as I could. I played a lot. I had friends that played soccer. I partied with the soccer guys. I played soccer with them. I was okay. I wasn't good enough to be on a team, but I could play recreationally. And it's not bad when you play recreationally. It's a good cardio workout, but it's boring. It's boring. It's a boring sport. Sorry, it's boring. All right, let's drop into the meat of today's show. It is about Connor Betts. It is the Connor Betts Enigma. That is what the title of today's show is. Before I do, I just want to play this one more time. Let me just play this one more time. I saved this. I saved this. Watch this.
I'm incredibly saddened, and it is very hard to think about this. But I'll tell you, El Paso is the strongest place in the world. This community is going to come together. I'm going back there right now to be with my family and to be with my hometown. And I want to thank the El Paso Police Department and the first responders. They are there right now, and we're going back to be with them.
Don't you just want to, like, take one of his fucking giant elf ears and just twist it a little bit? That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do to Beto work. Just twist one of those giant elf ears. How tall is he? He's about, what, 6'5"? He's 6'5", what, he's in his 40s? I still think I could probably take Beto O'Rourke. If I had to. I think I'd still probably take that guy. Probably. Might be close. I have been training. My resting heartbeat is at 57, by the way. How about that? I just wanted to show that so that you guys can keep that in your memory a little bit. Just remember that. I may play that every day for the next couple of weeks, just to remind you of the tragicomedy that these people are engaged in playing as actors. He's an actor. Beto O'Rourke's an actor. That's all he is. He's not a congressman. He's an actor. He's an actor playing as a congressman who theoretically is playing as a presidential candidate. That's all he is. He's got a script. He's got handlers. There's a director. He's just an actor. And right there, he was showing you that he's not a very good actor and doing it on purpose, no doubt. All right, let's get into the Connor Betts. Connor Betts, of course, was the shooter from Dayton. There's a very strange thing going on the internet about Connor Betts and his identity. It's very odd. Very, very odd. And I'm just going to point some of this stuff out. I'm not really drawing any conclusions, but it is unusual, and it gets into this whole kind of Gemini thing, right? You know, what I tend to refer to as the Gemini code, or the Gemini aspect to duality on this planet, which seems to come up again and again and again as a theme over and over again. Because what did we have? We had two shootings that took place. Two, right? Two. 1, 2, that's duality. El Paso and Dayton. And now we have two Connor Bettses. All right, so check this out. This is Connor Betts. Now look at the face. Look at the face. So Connor D. Betts of Suffield, 22, suddenly passed away suddenly on February 19th, 2014. Connor was born in Hartford on February 12th, 1992. Son of Kathleen O'Leary Betts, and was loved by all who knew him growing up in Suffield. He graduated from Suffield High in 2010, then attended Lincoln Tech for diesel technology, received a certification in 2012. He had a great love for farming, which led to his partnership with Northern Connecticut Combining before he started his own farm. 22 years old, he's starting his own farm. Wow. Hats off. Betts farm in Suffield in 2011. His love of fixing trucks, tractors, and other machinery led him to start his career as a mechanic for Herb Holden Trucking for a couple of years before being hired as a service manager for Folsom Construction LLC, where he was currently working. Connor was also a founding member of QRC Renovations. Connor had a passion for football and excelled at the game from the time he began playing organized football at age 6. He enjoyed hunting and fishing, but his greatest joy was spending time with his family and close friends who were blessed by his kindness, warmth, and humor. Connor was always willing to lend a hand and had the ability to fix anything. He was known for his heart of gold and will be missed dearly by all. He was a 6'3" teddy bear known as Baby by his mother. Along with his mother, Connor is survived by his 4 siblings, Colleen Rodriguez and her husband, Alfredo. Megan Betts. And there's a reason why Megan Betts is circled in yellow. Brian Betts and Catherine Betts, all in Suffield. He is survived by a niece called Linda Rodriguez, a nephew, Nathaniel Rodriguez, his father, Robert Betts, so on, so on, and so on. So this Connor Betts is Connor D. Betts. He shares the same name as Connor S. Betts, with the exception of the S in the middle of the S. Now look at that face. Now here's the Connor Betts that supposedly did the shooting. There's kind of a weird resemblance to these guys. There's a bit of a weird resemblance. Now this is supposedly the Connor Betts who shot his sister. Now that's Megan. That's his sister. So what are the odds are that there would be 2 Connor Bettses and 2 Megan Bettses? How much money would you bet on that? Strange, right? You know, he looks a little awkward there. Looks a little stiff, Connor. She's a little bit better in her own skin. But this is supposedly the sister he killed. Here we go. There's another picture of them. Boy, they're just happy, happy, happy. They're happy people. He's got himself a, it's like a German fest or something, right? He's probably very Lederhosen. She's got a nice little crystal there. He's got himself a nice sausage. Speaking of observers, what the hell is going on in the background over here? What is going on with the dude with the frickin' bunny ears? What is up with that? I've seen this picture, a couple of times now. This morning, I'm like, that is really frickin' bizarre. It's like, hello, did he pop up from a rabbit hole? Everybody's just, well, we're all just here having a nice little sausage, a little bit of red wine, some iced tea. Oh, and by the way, the bunny from hell is photobombing this picture. What is up with that? That is really bizarre. But again, this is indicative of a couple of nice siblings together. Okay? This is supposedly the girl he killed, along with her husband, which would be his brother-in-law. So the sequence of events is he killed her, he killed the brother-in-law. I'm not sure who else he killed. But then he gets into a car with his friend and supposedly is in full combat gear. Okay? Full combat gear. He's going to a nightclub and his friend is going to drop him off. Do you think that the friend has any, perhaps, suspicion? Hey, Con, what are you up to tonight? You're all kind of, you're dressed to kill, buddy. I got to say, if you're going to the club, you're dressed to kill. What are you planning? Oh, I plan on killing as many people as I can. Well, sure. Let me give you a lift over there. Anybody talk to the friend? And did the friend say, hey, Con, I got to get some gas. Hold on a second. Goes to get gas. Gets on the phone. Listen, my friend is really unstable right now. He's dressed in full combat gear. He's got an AK-47. He's got a clip with a bunch of bullets. I need you to come down here. I'm at the gas station. Did that happen? No. He just goes and drops him off. Hey, Con, have a great time. Pick off a couple for me while you're there. He's there less than a minute, and the cops are there waiting to shoot him. Less than a minute. Maybe that's what happened. His buddy says, "Hey, I'm dropping him off at the club, Ned's. He's going to Ned's Poppers or whatever it's called." on Fifth Avenue, by the way, which is, again, part of this whole weird thing around 5s and 23. In the Oregon District of Dayton. What else do we know about Oregon? Portland's where Antifa hangs out, right? Trump, by the way, still not made Antifa a terrorist organization. No, we're not going to red flag those people, are we? Let's see what you guys got in the chat room. The bunny ears, right? That's just not bunny ears. That's like the bunny from hell, man. That is the bunny from hell. Just an MK Ultra thing. Maybe it was Easter. Bunny Easter with Irish family, everyone has an aunt, not Aunt Nancy. Right? Megan was killed in the shit. Look at the picture again. This is not your typical. Those are not just bunny ears. Look at that face. There's something sinister about that bunny. And that's a dude with a suit and tie. Isn't that weird? That's so weird. Very strange. Anyway, there's a lot of high strange here going on with this guy. Oh, there's more. There's more. So his father and his mother apparently work for the same company. And I'm going to show you what that company is. But before I do, I'm going to show you some tweets. Of course, there's a large number of tweets that his father and his mother have provided us with. This is from a Facebook post. This is Steve Betts, his father. He's an anti-gun advocate. 34 in Switzerland, 52 in Canada, 58 in Israel, 21 in Sweden, 42 in West Germany, 10,728 in the United States. God bless America. Well, out of those countries that he chose, Switzerland and Israel, people all are armed. Once you go through your mandatory training, you get to keep your rifle. In Switzerland and Israel, you just take those right off the list. 21 in Sweden. Man. Canada, Canadians. But this is Steve Betts. Yeah, there must be a correlation, right? So his dad's an anti-gun advocate. Hardcore. So this is in reference to, I think it's, 2015. I think it's either in reference to Sandy Hook or Parkland. Guns with History. States United to Prevent Gun Violence. Opens a gun store in New York City. Let's not repeat it. Let's not repeat it. So his dad is on the record of being an anti-gun advocate. Very active. How about a tweet from his mom? You again? Stop the alt-right. We beat him before, we'll beat him now. So, of course, we have this interesting montage of Nazi Germany, right? And then KKK, the Confederate flag. The only thing wrong with this picture is Uncle Sam is too white. He is too white. I think Uncle Sam, and he's too male. I think Uncle Sam needs to be remade into a transgender, which is Baphomet anyway, and Uncle Sam is Capricorn. You know, Uncle Sam is kind of a manifestation of Baphomet, so it's not that big of a reach. So Uncle Sam could be Uncle Samantha. That's the only thing wrong with this picture. And instead of a wrench, maybe like about a 14-inch vibrator with spikes. I think that would really make that picture more complete. That would update the image. Don't you think? Instead of a wrench, kind of a brutal 14-inch vibrator with small spikes on the side. I think that would really set that off. There's always room for improvement. Anyway, that's the mom tweet. But speaking of brutal symbolism and representation with sex, oh, that's Connor Betts' band. They played a form of music called rapecore. Rapecore. I'm not sure which one is Connor Betts. I'm guessing the guy with the white dress and the black mask, because again, we're dealing with duality. Oh, it's a great product placement for Miller. See that? Great product placement. Miller, the beer of choice for enthusiasts of rapecore. Yep, there's Connor Betts. Good job, Mom and Dad. Can we make a connection here between maybe political ideology and Offspring? I'm just wondering. Got a little skull in the background there, Trick or Troll. Got skulls here. I don't see a drummer, so it's maybe just him and the dude. It looks like that's even a bass. It's not even a guitar. So it's just him and a bass. Wonderful. Wonderful. The original progenitors of what's called rapecore is a band called the Mentors. And supposedly the lead guitarist singer of the Mentors was the guy that killed Kurt Cobain. Their genre was called rape rock. And I know this because I used to work in a used record store. And there were these geeky nerds that would come in. And they were very into the Mentors. Not my thing. Not my thing. That's the band. All right. So, where does Connor Betts' father and I believe mother, who do they work for? Altamira Technologies. This is the company that they work for. Isn't this an interesting little symbol over here? Well, if you take those lines and you go in one direction and the other direction, what do we have? We've got a Masonic symbol right there. Just extend that white line a little bit here and a little bit there, and bada bing. Bada bing. And where are they located? McLean, Virginia. And what are they about? Altamira Technologies Corporation is a top open source technology company in the national security space, headquartered in McLean, Virginia. Altamira provides engineering and analytics services to the defense, intelligence, and homeland security communities. Altamira focuses on creating innovative solutions that leverage common standards in architecture, data, and security, which enables the company to solve complex issues of great importance to the nation while lowering engagement costs through speed of adoption, collaboration, and trust. So I guess we might be able to make a connection here between maybe Altamira Technologies and how fast the cops got there to Ned's Poppers or whatever it was called on Fifth Avenue. Well, look who works at Altamira. Steve Betts, Senior Software Engineer. Steve Betts. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, his mother, Moira, also works at Altamira. They're in McLean, Virginia. Okay? They're embedded. This is an embedded company. What does this remind you of? It reminds me of David Hogg and his father, Kevin Hogg, who works at Cubic Surveillance Systems. So it's another kind of, group that is connected to either managing or simulating or responding or aggregating data to live or real-time events that take place. Training. So it's almost like this weird, although in David Hogg's case, of course, he was not the shooter, but he was the observer, right? David Hogg played the role of the observer of that event, even though it was pretty much a staged observation. Think about that for a second. The most powerful person that came out of that event was an observer. He had to get there fast. He had to ride his bike really quickly because he heard about the shooting, and then he had to go through all the stuff that happened. Right? He had to navigate through all the bullet fire and the police barricades and everything to get to that space inside the classroom, so he could interview that girl. What a hero! What an absolute hero! Anyway, it's unusual, but it's there. His parents are involved in a company that has been subcontracted out by the Department of Homeland Security, located in McLean, Virginia. I mean, question marks. What is going on here? Can we make assumptions? Can we make assumptions? We might. But I just think it's important to get this stuff out there. And then the strange enigma of the two Connors with the two sisters named Megan, very, very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. And I'm not willing to speculate that it's the same Connor. It could be a very different Connor. Was there a reason why one Connor? The whole thing is it's a mind fuck. It's a total mind fuck. Okay, and the whole idea is ultimately just divide and conquer, and to take those guns out of your hands. There's a lot of other stuff going on right now too. Like Hong Kong is on fire. Hong Kong is freaking on fire right now. They're on fire. The Chinese army is ready to put boots on the ground in Hong Kong any day now, because they're not going to lose Hong Kong. They are not going to lose Hong Kong. And there's been and I believe what's happening there, it's no Tiananmen Square number 2 or 2.0. These people are being given instructions for some level of insurrection. And God help them. Because once the Chinese put boots on the ground there, it is not going to be pretty. It will not be pretty. They will start cracking heads. They will shoot. They will do anything in order to put the people back in their homes and to teach them a lesson. And that's going on right now. As a result of what's happened with the currency crash or currency situation, the Dow is on fire this week. We had foreign currencies begin to collapse, right? So something big is going on the money scene. Meanwhile, we're just, tromping around trying to figure out how we can get these red flag laws passed and theoretically makes America. I got a good idea. Why don't you just close all the Walmarts? Just close all the Walmarts. So another shooting. There was another shooting yesterday at a Walmart, although apparently that was real. Two yahoos down in Baton Rouge decided they were going to have a shootout at Walmart. That was real. They're not going to cover that though. That was actually real. The real stuff, like, how many people died this weekend in Chicago? They won't touch that. No, they won't touch that at all. No. But this other theater, man, Sturm and Drang and beat the drum until the beat comes so incessant that most people just put their hands over the head. Stop it, do anything, just stop it. I can't deal with it, right? We will not succumb to that. Why? Because we have humor at our disposal. Number 1, we have irony. Number 2, number 3, we have the ability to discern. And number 4, we have the spirit of truth and love within us. When we have all those things, guess what? You can walk through fire. You can absolutely walk through fire. It's okay. And not like, some kind of like macho thing. No. People have fires in their life all the time. All the time. When life doesn't go well, you're on fire. If you're going through a big Saturn square or Pluto square or whatever's going on in your chart, you're on fire. You have to walk through it. And everything that I just shared with you are the same attributes that will help you get through your day-to-day life as well. And you're not alone, and we're not alone. So remember that. There are millions of people, millions and millions of people that are in this country right now that are doing their very best to awaken from their slumber and to awaken from their slumber in a way that circumnavigates the cliches and the stereotypes that are associated with that. And for all of you who are involved in that endeavor, with love and respect in your hearts, I salute you. I salute you. It is the time. It's the time. It is not going to get easier, by the way. It is not going to get easier. And we're going to be tested significantly. But hey, you're here. You're here. You beam down. You're part of the landing party. You may as well take it on to the best of your ability. Right? Because what we do now, in my estimation, determines where we go when the show is over. So everything counts. Everything counts. All right. Speaking of the show, this one's coming to an end. And, of course, we're going to have Hill Country Harvest Moon in the Hill Country. That's happening October 12th, 13th, and 14th. I'm trying to get some more rooms freed up for Thursday night. I'm working with the hotel on that. And it's kind of a complicated process. So hang in there. Okay, hang in there. We do have ample amount of rooms for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got some more that are going to be coming online for Thursday. It's the hotel game. That's all I can say. So if you haven't made your reservations yet, I'm waiting to hear back from the hotel. Hopefully this week. We're going to get some more rooms lined up. Go in, bang it, and it's an ongoing process. And I hope to see as many of you as possible in October. So I'll be sending out an email today for the people that have signed up, just to give you all an update. And then everybody that's ordered a shirt, I'm getting them this week, and those shirts are coming at you. As soon as I get them, I'll put them in nice little, flyers and send them out to you guys. Okay? All right. Thanks for being a part of today's show. You know the mantra. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to say what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. You've been listening, watching, and participating, but in 15 Minutes of Flame. Have a great day.